What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to episode 15 of Sports with Skiz. A brief milestone for us. However, I'm solo dolo today, the host, Big Papa Bear. My partner in crime, Mike, he is down bad. He's got the sniffles, guys. So we're praying for him. And we hope he gets better. He will be back by next episode. It's not the same. I just don't feel right. You know what I mean? Without my guy. That's my guy. But you know what? The show must go on. I'm not going to let it stop for anybody. I had a shot of tequila. And if you guys see in the background, there is a football in my bed. I am a loser who still throws the ball to himself in the house. No Colts gear up. Just Knicks gear. Basketball season starts. But that's for later. All right, I'm going to get in, and I'm going to jump right into it, honestly, with Mike's first pick. He loves this Illinois versus Purdue game. I'm going to tell you right now, he likes Illinois minus 9.5. But you know what? I'm kind of here to explain why I think otherwise. So Ryan Brown, Purdue's quarterback, he's helped Purdue bring an identity back to their offense. Some of us have to remember, Purdue's been down and out for a few years, but they're low-key a quarterback guys like Drew Brees, Curtis Painter, and many more, have come and gone to the NFL. So, he's got 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, not great, 77 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns. Oddly enough, all 6 of his touchdown passes have come in the second half. Purdue's not a great football team. However, they're much better than they have been recently, and it shows me a little bit of resilience and a little bit of toughness that they have. I like seeing that. So they haven't won a meaningful game yet. Devin McAbee, 326 yards, 3 touchdowns. He's awesome. And you know what? When you have a football name like Nitro Tuggle, 196, 3 scores on 11 grabs. I expect him to have a big game versus Illinois' defense. Armand Branch, 9 catches, 185, 2 scores as well. So, 388 yards for Purdue offensively on the ground, 133. And Illinois, they haven't been that great defensively. They gave up 63 points to Indiana. They gave up 34 points to USC. Here's a nugget for you guys. Purdue, last season, goes into Illinois and puts up 49 points. And lose 50-49. So that is with a way less than formidable team compared to who they have this year, as I stated earlier. And another nugget, Yanni Karlaftis, the younger brother linebacker for the Boilermakers, younger brother of George Karlaftis, defensive end for the Chiefs. That's pretty cool. And you know what? Here's my last one. This is the one that has me leaning Purdue all the way, man. And you has to. Head coach Ryan Walters, former defensive coordinator. Where? Illinois. That's right, Illinois. Purdue. You know what? I've got another nugget. Purdue, since 2018, as an unranked underdog, has beaten 4 top 5 opponents, the most in FBS in that time. Purdue's trending upwards. And you know what? I like it. I mean, I really do. Again, when you're playing against an offense like Illinois, a quarterback like Luke Altmaier, we've spoken about him on this show on numerous occasions. Caden Fegan, Aiden Lafferty, wide receiver Colin Dixon, Hudson Clement is due for a big game. Illinois is more than capable of winning this game. Of course, they're more than capable of winning, and they're more than capable of covering the 9.5 spread. But you know what? This is a spot game, and I think that at the end of the day, Illinois is going to be looking ahead to Ohio State next week. Give me Purdue plus 9.5. Give me Purdue first half money line, baby. At some point, they've got to start off hot. The fans are going to be there. It's going to be litty. Let's go, baby. That's Mike's pick. That's my pick. Mike's pick was a minus 9.5. That was his game that he wanted me to highlight for you guys today to kick it off. My first game of the day, Cincinnati versus Iowa State. This is a pick'em. A toss-up with an over-under of 55.5. Not really sure about it. The Bearcats are at home. This is a sweet dual quarterback matchup. This is a quarterback duel. Brendan Sorsby, Rocco Beck, they face off. But you know what? I truly believe that this game is going to be won and lost in the trenches. Both of these teams have a solid rushing attack. Both of these teams run the ball well, and Cincinnati, believe it or not, has more rushing yards average per game. If I'm not mistaken, 50 yards more rushing per game at 140 or 150 to Iowa State. So, Brendan Sorsby, he's more of a gunslinger. That's pretty dangerous when you have a guy that can throw the ball around the field and you have a team that can run the football. He likes to throw the ball a little bit outside of the numbers. Rocco Becht, we've talked about it a couple of times so far this year. And you know what? It's never two guys go to the NFL for that wide receiving core, and it's never going to stop being spoken about until they can really prove themselves. And they've done a great job, right? 4-0 with two guys going to the league, and they've done it with their rushing attack, with their tight ends, and inside of the numbers. It's a completely different dynamic of their offense for Iowa State. So this is going to be a pretty interesting matchup. Tyree Walker, the running back for the Bearcats, 240 yards, 3 scores on the year. Cyrus Allen, Cincinnati star receiver, has 5 receiving touchdowns. Both defenses super stout. I mean, Cincinnati's rushing defense is their bright spot, which is can pose a threat to Iowa State. They're only giving up 109 yards per game on the ground. So, that could prove very effective versus Iowa State, and it's going to have to force Rocco Becht into a few passing situations, I'm sure, a few major third down situations. Again, they're a team that don't really throw the ball outside the numbers. They haven't found that continuity at the wide receiver spot yet. So the over-under for me is pretty high here. So be wary of that. 55.5 is going to be a very funny number for Saturday. But you know what? In a toss-up game, Iowa State's undefeated. Give me the Bearcats at home. All right, let's move on to the next one. This is a great one. Mike picked this game, Alabama versus Vanderbilt. And the spread's at 11.5. It just jumped to 12. Bama's minus 500 at home. Again, the over-under, 55.5. Watch out for that, folks. Gambling this weekend. Listen, I know why Mike made this pick. He doesn't have to tell me that because he was just so down bad he wasn't able to get with me this week. But you know what? Kalen DeBoer is the name. I know it. And we were so quick to throw him under the bus at the beginning of the season. But you know what? After a major win versus Georgia on the road last week, it's hard not to take the tide that can turn into a tsunami. I'm sorry. Maybe I should have used something better than that. Anyway, Ty Simpson, he throws piss missiles across the field, guys. There's no doubt about it. 11 touchdowns, no interceptions. He is one of them ones looking like the truth. Absolutely. Jeremy Bernard has been excellent. The Crimson Tide have a stud receiving core with him and Ryan Williams. He's got 310 yards and 4 scores. I know Williams has been battling some injuries recently. The rushing attack for Alabama hasn't come alive yet, but it also hasn't come alive for the Vanderbilt Commodores because their leading rusher is their quarterback. And as good as Diego Pavia is, 1,500 all-purpose yards, 294 on the ground, 13 touchdowns, 3 picks. Alabama's defense is back. All right. As much as Pavia has Vanderbilt trending upwards, again, undefeated, this is going to be the biggest test that I think I've ever seen them have as a program. So, and I will say one thing about Vanderbilt that they have going on for them. Eli Stowers, the tight end, he absolutely must have a big game for Vanderbilt. He's their leading receiver. And, Tom Brady actually said it on a podcast earlier this week, and it's the truth. I've always felt it's been the truth. The tight end is the X factor in an offense. If you have a good one, it's hard. It's difficult to stop. And, Eli Stowers is a very good receiving tight end. So I like Bama to cover here. Again, Vanderbilt undefeated. At some point, something's got to give. This is going to be one of those games that, is Diego Pavia really that guy? I mean, if he balls in this game, the NFL, teams are going to come calling. That's something I will say. So personally, he likes the Crimson Tide to cover. I like the over 55.5 this game. I think there's going to be some points scored. I think there's going to be some fireworks going off. All right. This is something that Mike and I both collabed on. It's Texas and Florida. He and I both like this game. And listen, let's start it off with this. Texas ranks first defense. I saw a tweet earlier today that said, you know, I didn't think that I wanted to watch Iowa versus Iowa State again. That's how underwhelming these two SEC offenses have been thus far this year. All right. DJ Lagway, 5 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. He has struggled so bad. In a season where Florida coming in had such high hopes, Billy Napier is on the hottest of hot seats. He is due for a major win. I know he has a terrible record versus I know he's got a terrible record versus good teams, but the swamp has been drained and Florida needs some Gatorade, okay? Listen, something's got to click for these guys at some point. The rushing attack is awful. They don't even have 300 yards collectively as a team on the season. The offense only puts up 22 points per game. There's nothing to write home about. The defense is they didn't play that bad against LSU. I give this defense a little bit of credit there. And, on the other side, it's kind of the same thing. Something's got to get going. Arch Manning, he hasn't been bad. He just had so much expectations, so much weight on his shoulders that we expect him to have 1,500 yards, 12 touchdowns, no interceptions, a win versus Ohio State. And I get it. I completely understand that. You're getting paid. We've talked about it. We're going to keep talking about it. As I've stated before, the scrutiny is going to come behind it, gang. That's what's going to happen. Arch, what do you have for him, bro? 888 yards passing, 8 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. It's not bad. You're a mobile guy. You haven't really played anybody since playing Ohio State. So this is a test. Florida is going to come in pissed off. It's a good thing he's got a receiver in Parker Livingston, 11 catches, 232 yards, 3 scores on the season. He's their leading wide receiver. Texas has the better offensive line. Their run game isn't something that'll wow you. I think they'll run the ball. I think they'll run a lot of RPO action, get Arch Manning outside the pocket, maybe a couple of QB dives, things of that nature, a little QB power here and there. So for those of you who don't know, here's a nugget. There is a Manning who never beat Florida. Peyton. My personal favorite Manning of all time, even though I have ties to the whole family. That's my family. They're like my third cousins, my uncle's sisters by marriage. Like, we're family. Like, I love those guys. Not really, but, in my heart and in my brain, I'm delusional enough to believe I do. And that's fine. It's okay. Because Arch Manning breaks the family curse Saturday. Texas covers in the swamp, as they should. Florida just doesn't have enough. And quite frankly, they're too incompetent as a team. This is my personal last game. I probably should have saved Florida for last. But you know what? I have a big dinger at the end for Mike and I, excuse me there. Right? So Maryland versus Washington, plus 6.5. And I'm talking about the Terps, who are home and undefeated. Yes, they are the underdog. But you know what? Washington, they're coming in and they're feeling not bad about themselves, right? Because a 24-6 loss to Ohio State, when people completely wrote them off, I think they covered the spread, if I'm not mistaken. So, you know what? It wasn't really that Washington wasn't good enough to be in that ball game. Just Ohio State just that much better. I don't think Washington really did anything too poorly. You have to be way better versus Maryland on third down, which they absolutely will be. You were 1 for 11 last week on third down conversions. It's just something that just can't happen. Demond Demon Williams, because that's exactly what I call him, because he's a demon on the football field. 6 touchdowns, no interceptions, 951 yards through the air. He can absolutely throw the rock. No question about it. Denzel Boston, 275. 3 of those touchdowns are his. He is their leading wide receiver. And again, you just got to convert on third down. Maryland, they have a very good defense. The Buckeyes defense is great. They're so talented. They're so disciplined. Maryland only gives up 11 points per game. However, Washington, Maryland hasn't played in Ohio State. You have that to your advantage. That's major, right? Malik Washington for Maryland. 8 touchdowns, 1 pick. He's been superb. Shalik Knox, 276, 5 receiving touchdowns. The offense goes, man. This is a good Maryland football team. And I really, 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 really want to take them at home. I have to, right? Oh, I'm going to hate myself for this. Washington -6.5. I know. I know. But you know what? The over-under is at 52.5, and I love the over. I love the over. I think this is going to be a high-scoring affair. It's going to be a fun game to watch. It's going to be one of those back-and-forth games you're going to be pulling your freaking hair out for. So, yeah, Huskies -6.5. But don't get it twisted, y'all. I mean, my heart tells me Maryland's going to win this game. I'm a gambler. I'm a sharp bettor, +200. I love it. And I'm personally going to gamble on that. If I had to give you guys a safe bet, it's Washington -6.5, just coming off playing Ohio State. But then again, I also took Troy after they almost beat Clemson versus Buffalo, and they got absolutely smoked. So who knows? It's a crazy game, right? We love football. Last game, final game. I appreciate you guys for sticking it out with me this long. I wanted to go live. I forgot. I'm trash. Miami versus Florida State. Spread -4.5. Miami's a favorite. Miami's 4-0. They haven't lost a game. Over under 53.5. Yeah, I know. It's a goofy game, and that's why I'm a goofy guy, and I'm going to get goofy for the chat, all right? Both have solid QBs, but both have super tough running backs, super good running backs. Mark Fletcher Jr. for the Canes, 388 yards, 5 scores. He's a beast. On the other end, Gavin Sawchuk, former Oklahoma Sooner, now a Seminole, found a home, 234 and 6 scores. So neither defense gives up 20 points per game. Neither defense gives up more than 120 yards rushing a game. So you say, Tanaka, how? Why? Why would you not think that the quarterbacks are going to go crazy? Because that's what everybody else is thinking. That's what these defenses are thinking. And you know what? For the quarterbacks to do well, the run game has to open up. So that's just my belief. And Florida State, they have to get back to themselves from how they started the year. That was a tough loss on the road at Virginia. That was not a catch, by the way. It wasn't a catch. It was not a catch. Great win for Virginia, but yeah, Florida State, they're good enough. They're definitely good enough offensively. Thomas Castellanos, he's only got 4 passing touchdowns this year, but he contributes so much to the ground. He's a dual threat quarterback. Again, 2 different style of offenses. Carson Beck, a pure pocket passer. He can throw the ball all over the football field. So this is going to be an interesting one. I personally am taking the over 53.5. Guys, I want to highlight Division II. Youngstown State ranked 18th versus South Dakota State number 2. And the only reason I'm taking Youngstown State for the upset is because I had 2 former ball players that I know that I went to high school with, that graduated from the same high school, Bryce Gibson and Brock Eisenhuth, both went to Youngstown State. So we're rooting for them. That's going to be something that I will be watching, guys. If you have trouble watching small FCS games and stuff like that, Division II, things of that nature, Hulu. If you have Hulu, get the sports package, man. It's really worth it for college football and basketball. I promoted them last week. I'll promote them for that again. Listen, it's been absolutely fun. It's very weird doing it by myself. So for anybody who sees this or listens, I appreciate it. Mike, we're all wishing you to get better. You'll be fine. We'll see you next week, gang. We'll probably see you on Tuesday anyway. For those of you watching, thank you for watching our 15th episode. That is a milestone for me personally. I know it is for my partner in crime as well. We love you. Stay tuned. Make sure that you comment. Let us know what's going on. Hey, even in your life. Oh, how did a team losing or winning impact you on your fine Saturday? All right, guys, we love you. Have a beautiful, beautiful weekend.